Hi, everybody. Welcome to North Jersey Living. I'm Ross Hyman. Today, we're going to be talking about Bloomfield, New Jersey, and we're going to be doing it on a Google map. We're going to look at the area, how large the town is, what towns are nearby, how close it is to New York City, to the airport, all those things. And we're going to look at some of the attractions, the shopping, the restaurants, parks, things in the area, so you can get an idea of how everything's situated. If you like videos like this and you want to see more, please feel free to like and subscribe, or feel free, if you're looking to move to the area, you're looking to sell a home in the area, contact myself or Greg at the number below. We'll be happy to get right back to you. You can call us, text us. Our email is down there, and there's even a link for Zoom call. You can schedule a Calendly appointment for us to have a Zoom call. So with that being said, let's get right to it. On the screen right now, you can see we've got the map of Bloomfield, New Jersey, and you could get a good sense of how it's shaped here. It's kind of a long, tall, narrow area. You can see some of the surrounding towns. You've got Montclair to the west, Glenridge to the west, East Orange to the southwest. You've got, you can't see it, but Newark is down here. You've got Harrison, you've got Kearney over here, Belleville, Nutley, and Clifton up here. So a lot of towns touching Bloomfield. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, and you could just see the proximity to New York City from Bloomfield. There's New York. That's Central Park that I'm touching right there. Central Park right there. That's Bloomfield, and that's New York City. And, you know, if you're flying straight across, it's probably around 12 miles. The commute is going to be more. See if I can show you what the commute would look like. I mean, typically you would go one of two ways. You'd either come this way if you were driving, that is, and come in that way, or you'd come down, go across, go like that, or you could even come down and go like this. So there's a number, and of course, those are through the tunnels. Yeah, it doesn't move with me, but another way that you can go is the George Washington Bridge. So that was the Holland and Lincoln tunnels down here, and then up here is the George Washington Bridge. So you can actually go, if you're driving into the city, you can go like this, take Route 46, go into the city that way, and that's going to take you into Harlem, Bronx, that's going to take you into the Bronx, and then you come down through Harlem into the city. So that's if you're driving. Of course, there are trains, and I'm going to show you the trains. Let's get that up on the map. Transit. So zooming in here, you can see how the train cuts through here. This is the train line here, cuts through Bloomfield, and there's two stations that fall into Bloomfield proper. That's the Bloomfield station, and that's Watsessing station. And this is the border of Bloomfield, the southwest border. So you can see where those are. It's going to be hard to see, but the train line runs like this. This is the Montclair-Boonton line, runs into the city like that. So it takes about, it depends on the day, of course, but it takes anywhere from about 35 minutes to as much as an hour and a half if there's problems on the train, but typically 35 to 50 minutes will get you into the city from Bloomfield. I'm going to actually switch to another map, and I'm showing you this because I want to point out that Bloomfield I have to scroll through this, but Bloomfield is broken up into 3 distinct wards. It's done that way for a number of reasons, but obviously public services is part of it. It's also voting districts and to handle their garbage pickup and things like that. But I wanted to show you that it actually correlates very directly to the types of living that's in those areas. They're very different neighborhoods. So Ward 2, which is the northernmost, has Brookdale Park in that space, and it's got, here's Clark's Pond. This is the Brookdale Park area. And it's more, so it's considered Ward 2. And Ward 2 is more about, like, it has more single family homes. There's some apartment buildings, but it's more spread out. It's more suburban. There's more trees. It's definitely more of a suburban type of neighborhood. And then you go down to Ward 1, which is Bloomfield Center, which you can see these orange lines delineate it. And that's where Bloomfield Station is, and that's where all the new developments are. for new apartment buildings and so forth, all the development that's been going on in Bloomfield. If you haven't seen my video about the pros and cons of living in Bloomfield, check that out. I talk a lot about the new developments that have occurred in Bloomfield as far as mixed-use development, like apartment buildings, townhomes, the Bloomfield Center revitalization, all those things. They're all happening now. There's a revitalization of Bloomfield happening. Most of it, I should say, is taking place in this area in Ward 1, which is the center of Bloomfield. It's the downtown area, and it's more dense, and there's more traffic, and it's more urban type of environment. So that's what it's like in the center. And then you go to the south, and it's very different. Now, I've mentioned in some of my other videos that Bloomfield originally, this is going back to the 1600s, was part of Newark. So you could see it borders Newark here and East Orange here. So it's probably, I would say, more dense as you go down. So it gets even tighter. The lots are small on the houses. It's more industrial. There's more businesses down here, more, what do I say? Like not factories, but there used to be factories down there. It's what used to be the industrial part of Bloomfield. And so you get more buildings that are more industrial looking, you get smaller homes. And then as you go up, things start to spread out and get farther apart. Incidentally, the northern part of Bloomfield was where, this property, this land was bought in 1666 from the Yanticaw Indians, who were a sub-tribe of the Lenni Lenape Indians. And Brookdale Park was their encampment, which is up here in the northern part of Bloomfield. And so it's more park-like in that area in general. And you'll see that as I go through some of the other details. And I'm going to just switch back. But I just wanted to show you how it's broken into 3 different wards. And those wards are very distinctly different types of places. In fact, I would almost say that you could almost say that like they could be different towns. They're different. And so dramatically, at least from the northernmost part of Bloomfield to the southernmost part of Bloomfield. I'm going to zoom in now to show you Brookdale Park to clarify. And there's Clark's Pond that I mentioned. There's a park here. Demarest Elementary School is here. Holsten's Ice Cream. If you've seen any of my other Bloomfield videos, one of the things that I mention is that Holsten's, you may already know this, but Holsten's is where they filmed the last scene of the last episode of The Sopranos. So it's a bit of a landmark from that perspective, but it was already a landmark because it has a lot of charm. It's been around in Bloomfield for a very long time. It's kind of like an old-time soda bar, ice cream restaurant. I don't know how else to describe it. I'll have to show you some pictures of it, but it's a really charming place. And then here's Brookdale Park. So that's the encampment where the Yanticaw Indians resided before it was sold to the group of people they were actually from Connecticut, 64 families that moved down here and purchased the land. It was all part of Newark, which was a much larger area. So back to Bloomfield. Now, I've shown you some of the highways, how to get around and things like that. Brookdale Park is some of the green space. I'm going to highlight a little bit more of the green spaces here for a moment. You've got Watsessing Park down in the south part here. That's it right there. So this is Watsessing Park. It doesn't scale with the picture, so I've got to do this every time. Here, let's go up here. There's a golf course here. You can see this. That is the Upper Montclair Country Club. It actually is partially it's in Bloomfield, and right, this part is in Montclair. Here's the rest of it. It's a golf country club that's there. I mentioned Demarest School and Clark's Pond. That's a park back there as well. Morris Canal Park is here. I've mentioned Morris Canal Park in a number of my videos because it plays a really key role in the development of this area of New Jersey and also of New York. Real quickly, Morris Canal was a man-made canal that was built to transport anthracite coal from Easton, Pennsylvania, all the way to the Hudson River in New York, and stops along the way. And so that canal, the remnants of that canal exist all the way across all of New Jersey and Pennsylvania through to New York. So it's a pretty cool thing to see when you run into parts of it. I have a friend, actually one of the guys who works here with me. The Morris Canal runs right through his backyard, through his property. He lives in Denville, which is a more northern suburb. The Morris Canal played a really key role in the development of this area because it transported essentially the fuel for the industry to build up all of this stuff. And so you'll see Morris Canal parks at various places throughout northern New Jersey. it's an interesting thing to note. Green space. So you've got parks, you've got golf courses. I'm going to show you a few more green spaces that aren't necessarily in Bloomfield proper, but you've got things in the area. So, or just even other attractions. So this is in West Orange, Thomas Edison National Historical Park, which is where Thomas Edison developed many of his inventions. Very cool place to see, worthwhile for the family to take a day trip. You've got Eagle Rock Reservation right here, which is a huge park right here. This is the Montclair Golf Club next to it, separate from the Upper Montclair. You've got a hospital here. If you are concerned about having a hospital nearby, there is a Mountainside Medical Center, which is part of the Hackensack Meridian group of medical practices. You could see it's in Montclair, but it's right on the edge of Bloomfield. This is the Bloomfield border. So that's something that's good to note. So there's going back to the green space, lots of green space in the area, lots of parks, all these green areas surrounding it. The Meadowlands, just if you're a sports fan, the Meadowlands Sports Complex, MetLife Stadium, and the American Dream Mall, which has the Nickelodeon Universe theme park, is right here. And you could see that's not too far from Bloomfield as well. That's an amazing place. You've got in the Meadowlands Sports Complex, you have in the Nickelodeon Universe theme park that's part of the American Dream Mall, which is, I don't know if it's the biggest or the second biggest mall in the United States, but they have a year-round ski slope, so you can go skiing, snow skiing, anytime year-round. There's a structure that you can ski in, and then they have, in addition to the Nickelodeon Universe theme park, and what else is there? There's a water park in there as well, so that's part of the Nickelodeon theme park backing out. So that's some of the activities and shopping, and then you've got Willowbrook Mall, which is in Wayne. Let me see if I can hone in on that. There it is, Willowbrook. So here's Brookdale still down here, or I'm sorry, Bloomfield is still down here. And then you've got Willowbrook Mall up here. Oh, I mentioned Tony Soprano. The Sopranos, here's the house that's in Caldwell, North Caldwell. And that is the actual house from the show nearby. And then you've got Grover Cleveland Park. Grover Cleveland was born in this area. His house is here. And I believe that's considered where his house is. I believe it's West Caldwell. As you go further west, you've got all kinds of, you've got lakes, you've got really beautiful suburbs, and it gets more rural as you go west. There's a Stickley Museum here, and that's in the Morris Plains area. Morristown is down here. This is called the Funplex, and that is a family entertainment complex, like an arcade and bowling and various things, all in that one location. And so there's lots of activities and entertainment. Of course, if you want to go even broader, we can just zoom out. And for those of you who aren't familiar, this is New Jersey, so you can go to the beach. So you've got the shore points. So we still have Bloomfield here, right here, and I'm going to switch out and get rid of that just to show you. But then, the beaches are down here. So you've got Bloomfield here, and then you start hitting beaches right about here, and New Jersey beaches go all the way down. I mean, you could get to a beach in about an hour, and then to the farthest beaches down, like here in Cape May, down at the bottom, 2.25 hours. So you've got that. And then for other entertainment, if you're into skiing, I know some of my friends here ski. I'm not a big skier, though I did when I was younger, but I just don't want to get injured because I know I will. I'm sure I'll end up breaking my legs. But this whole area, as you can see, just as to put it in perspective, here's Bloomfield right here, and there's New York City. You've got the Hamptons out here, Long Island, and then you've got Connecticut up here. You've got New York State up here, and then you go into New England up here. There's Providence, Rhode Island. So, you're not far from a lot of different activities and attractions and places to go, things to do. I have family in Philadelphia, actually the suburbs of Philadelphia, so I go down there all the time. And then on a more practical level for Newark, if you're going to travel internationally, you're very close to the Newark International Airport. Very easy to get there from Bloomfield. You can see it's right here, and here's Bloomfield up here. So very close. So that's pretty convenient. Here's a helicopter tour company if you want to take a helicopter tour of New York City. Now, I mentioned, it's going to take the frame away from the town. I mentioned Holsten's, which Holsten's it's in here. Holsten's is more of a diner, soda bar type atmosphere. And there's a ShopRite, by the way, for grocery shopping. This is Brookdale Park, the big park. I think I've mentioned a few times. This is the Brookdale area. A couple of my favorite places. This is one of my favorite places. It's called Popolari, and it's a Italian food, sort of like they do, I don't know if it's brick oven or coal-fired, wood-fired pizza, but you have to get the pizza for one, the individual pizzas, not the traditional pizzas, but the pizzas for one, and they do it in this little oven. It's phenomenal. I recommend it highly. So you can check out Popolari. Yeah, there's a little, I know there's a car outside. There was a little Italian car. That's Popolari. Other places in town, the town pub, Manusha Company, Mediterranean, State Street Grill, Buco. It's a very good Italian restaurant. As you go further to the downtown area, let me see what I got here. Oh, here they are. There's a restaurant row actually on Washington Street, Anthony's Cheesecake. So there's a whole bunch of restaurants. This area right here, which is where a lot of the development has been occurring, there are a number of restaurants, but there's Anthony's Cheesecake back here and there's Buco back here. These are two restaurants that are on this street. Very good restaurants. And this is where a lot of the new development, there's 6 Points and the Royal Bloomfield and 110 Washington. And you're going to see and here's the State Street Grill. There's a supermarket here, the Superfood Town of Bloomfield, and here's the train station. So this is really the hub of downtown activity is right here. All this area right here, there's Bloomfield College. There's the Green at Bloomfield, which is essentially, I guess this, I don't want to call it this exactly the center point of the town, but it's where there's an old church, the Bloomfield Presbyterian Church, which is what gave the town its name, is in that area in the green. And the green is a big, like it sounds, a big green grassy area that there's some old historic buildings surrounding it. And the library is there. Doesn't look very big, but when you're there, it's much bigger. And here's the library. Here's Sacred Heart Church. Here's the First Baptist Church. So this is a very dense area with things to do. There's, like I said, historic homes and buildings. There are historic churches. And then you've got other businesses around here as well. Here's the Royal Bloomfield, which is the newest building in the area. Just take a moment and show you that. So this has 200 rental apartments, 14 townhomes in the bottom. Those were sold. The townhomes were sold. This is blocking here, the brick at the bottom here. Those are the townhomes. And all above is rental apartments. These penthouses up here in this top part here rival anything that you'll find in Manhattan. I mean, they have all the amenities that you're going to want. It's got Wolf appliances and Sub-Zero refrigerators, and they have a roof deck, a really beautiful roof deck that's for the penthouse renters. In the middle of this building is an outdoor area for everyone in the building. There's an indoor gym, but there's also outdoor barbecues, pergolas, out for outdoor seating, and what they call al fresco dining areas. There's a pet washing station in this, a pet spa. There's all kinds of great stuff, and there's a Pilates studio in the ground floor. So this is one of the newest buildings, and the parking is inside. So you go in here. This is the garage entrance. There's also an entrance over here that you can't see, but you go into the garage here and you park inside. Really great new building. Anyway, that's right around the corner from the restaurants that we were talking about, Anthony's Cheesecake and Buco, those other restaurants. Now, let's take a minute, take a look at schools. There are 8 elementary schools, 1 dedicated pre-K, and then one high school, Bloomfield High School. And they are spread out throughout the town. So there's definitely going to be a school that's not too far from where you want to be. Here's Bloomfield High School over here. Here's the Belmont Tavern, a classic tavern. You've got Halcyon Park. There's a Marshall's over here. There's a little shopping plaza over here. Taqueria Los Guerros. So there's a BMW dealership, a Home Depot, Bury the Hatchet if you like throwing axes. They've even got that. Bloomfield has an animal shelter. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to show me the schools, but that's over in Nutley. Oh, here's one, Demarest Elementary School. But there are 8 public schools, 8 elementaries, and 1 dedicated pre-K. and then one middle school and one high school. This is fun. Applegate Farm is over here too, and that's actually in Montclair, but really great classic ice cream place. They make their own ice cream there. See if I can pull that up. It's really a cool destination. We go there many times this summer. It's actually open year round, but you pull up, you drive up, and you could see these incredibly long lines there when it's in the heat of the summer. So cool old time dairy / ice cream place. Those are some of the key features of Bloomfield. You have an idea of where it is, what's available in Bloomfield. It's a great town, and it's got a lot more great things coming. If you'd like to learn more about Bloomfield, feel free to call, to text, email us, or set up a Zoom call with Greg and myself. We'll be happy to talk to you all about Bloomfield or any other town in the area. And if you like videos like this and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. But until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.